The students of D2, they are going to talk about the story, the Phantom of the Opera, but they're also going to talk about concerts, the theater, the cinema, and some of them are even going to put on a play which was written, produced, directed by the class. Okay, shall we begin? First of all, this is a video of a Finnish band called Nightwish, and they're singing the theme song to the story that we've read this year. And I'd like to ask you what type of music this is. What type of music is this?
This type of music is metallic.
Metal? Spiros, continue. What kind of music?
It is a concert that combines an orchestra.
Repeat.
It is a music that combines violins and full orchestra. It's something like classic rock music.
Yes, and what else can we say about it? Orestes?
Well, it's actually symphonic metal. It combines full orchestra, opera, all kinds of instruments, and it's really interesting. I love
Okay. And what do you think about going to concerts like this? Concerts that are in a stadium like this. Would you like to go? Greta, talk about if you'd like to go and why.
I would like it because you can express your feelings, you can dance, you can sing. Also, you take energy from the crowd.
What else? Thanasis?
Furthermore, you can feel free, jump all the time.
Yeah. Spiros?
To conclude, you can express free your feelings because you are not in the theater, you are in the stadium. So you can sing, you can dance.
What about some disadvantages to a stadium like this? To watching concerts in a stadium like this? Greta?
First of all, the tickets are very expensive, and not only the tickets, everything, the souvenirs, water, snacks. Secondly, if you are at the end of the stadium, you can see anything because of the crowd.
Spiros?
There are many people there, so there isn't any park space to park your car. Furthermore, there are many people, and you can't, and sometimes you can't find a seat.
Of course.
And there are many and they pull you, they push you.
Yeah, they push and shove. Yeah, they push and shove. The crowds push and shove. Now let's move on to the Opera House. And this is a real tour that I found on the internet. It's called the After Hours Tour. And here you can see what the Opera House actually looks like. And on the internet it's described the same way that it's described in their books. So let's say that I am the tour guide. What would you like to ask me about this tour? Thanasis?
How long does the tour last?
Yeah. The tour lasts for 90 minutes. Another question.
What's the price of the tickets?
Okay. The ticket for this tour is 21 euros, but if you want to go during the day, it's 17 euros. Spiros?
Which are the highlights of the tour?
Okay, I think that I'm going to turn this over to my colleague Greta, who knows quite a lot about the architecture and design of the Opera House, and she would like to inform you more about the tour.
This tour contains the Grand Foyer, the Grand Escalier, and
the highlights are the box 5, the chandelier, and of course the web of pathways under the opera house.
Okay. Now, we also talked a bit about the cinema around the Christmas time, because there were a lot of great films out this year. So, just to, I don't know, just for a change of pace, I brought in some trailers. We watched them, we discussed them, and I think that Spiros here has actually seen one of these films. Which one have you seen?
Actually, I have seen Meg, which is a 2018 science fiction film directed by John Turteltaub, and it has loads of action and fun in some scenes.
Why do you think the cinema is so popular nowadays? Why do you think the cinema is so popular? Thanasis?
Because the tickets aren't too expensive, and the cinema is newer than the theater. You can see films in 3D films or 4D sometimes.
Great.
What are 4D films? I haven't heard about that before.
Me too.
We know they exist. Experience?
There you can enjoy the film with visual effects, sound effects, and as Thanos said, you can enjoy it in 3D or 4D.
Yeah, I think 4D must be.
And the big
You get
screen,
the
big
feelings.
screen.
Even like you may feel water, you may feel something in the film.
I
It
see.
takes it like 3D
It's
is
more
when you
beautiful.
think the shark is in your face, but I think it's
Like VR.
Okay, anything else we can say here? Yes. How could the theater become more popular? The theater is a dying art nowadays. How could it become more popular? Greta, what do you have to say about that?
First of all, we can reduce the price of the tickets, so everyone could take part to see this.
Could attend, so everyone
could attend.
Yeah. It doesn't matter, it's in your wrestlers, it's fine.
They
Reduce the
said-
tickets so that everyone can attend. Lovely
Guys, sorry,
sentence.
just a second, let me
Orestes.
say something, guys. You always get trapped, you know the word, trapped, in your effort to tell the truth. Never mind, just say something. Like in the exam day, nobody is expecting you to bring new things, new ideas. They expect you to speak English and say what you know as far as the language is concerned. Nobody cares about what you're going to say. They care about how you say it. Okay, so don't worry. If you feel you get trapped, just say something else. I don't mind if it's true or not. Okay?
They certainly have to adopt new technology in order to improve their visual effects. This would make it funnier and more real for the audience. And they should also make them available on the internet just like films are, so people could watch them every day.
Okay, so this would change things because I think the theater, it's worth going to see a play every once in a while. Now, let's talk about the story, and first of all, talk about the Persian. Who was the Persian? Continue, Orestes.
He was police and the chief on the Persian police, and he went to the carnival. There he heard a beautiful voice and wanted to see what's hidden behind it. And there he found the phantom.
Okay. So he plays an important role in the story. Here we can see Christine, of course, and Raoul. Now, let's talk about some extracts from the story, which are from the beginning, the middle, and the end. Okay, the first one. Members of Parisian society could display themselves in their finest clothing and jewels. This was just as important as watching the performance itself. What does this mean? What are they trying to say here? Spiros, what is your opinion about this?
This phrase wants to say that the Parisian, the wealthy Parisians wanted to express themselves in their finest clothing, but not to watch the film. They want to promote themselves.
Yeah, they want to show off.
To show off.
Yeah. The next one. A phantom that bleeds is less dangerous than one that doesn't. Thanasis.
Firstly, that's Raoul said that, yes. And he means that the phantom wasn't real, because when he got out of the window, the glass of the window had blood in there.
So what did Raoul realize about this?
That the phantom isn't real, wasn't real.
He is a...
Person.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's a person. Okay. And the last one. The fate of everyone here in the opera is in your, Christine's, lovely hands. Okay, Greta.
Christine had to make a decision between a marriage or a death
Or funeral.
Or a funeral. She had to choose to marry Eric or everyone in the opera house would die.
Okay. Now, talk about the voice in her dressing room. Orestes.
One day, Christine woke up and heard an angelic voice singing, and she just couldn't resist it. She wanted to find who was behind the voice. One day, the voice approached her and promised to give her a gift. But he also wanted something in exchange. So a special bond was created between them that changed both of their lives forever.
And of course, why did Christine want to work with a voice? Greta, what was she going to get from this voice?
She wanted to be famous, well known, because she knew that he would help her.
Okay, now the mystery begins. Okay, talk about the mysteries in this particular story. Talk about the mysteries. There's a death, there is a man in a dressing room. What else? Spiros, talk about the mysteries.
Firstly, one day, while there is a performance in the opera, some frightened ballerinas went to the stage and they informed
Madame Jury.
Madame Jury about a strange voice that they heard, and they believed that it belongs to Phantom.
Did everyone believe this? What did they think that this was?
This was a myth.
Yes. Okay. Another mystery. Orestes?
Okay. They heard Madame Zeri screaming as she saw the chief of the scene changes.
How did you remember that? Yes.
Hanging from the ceiling. It was suicide, but he was way too reasonable to commit suicide. He would never do this to himself.
Okay. Another mystery. Greta?
Raoul heard a mysterious voice in Christine's dressing room after a performance. And when Christine left her dressing room, he went in to see who was this mysterious man. When he went there, he didn't find anyone or anything.
Yes. Now, here we can see a picture of the costume party, and of course there were some letters. The Nazis, can you remember what the Phantom wrote in the letters? what were his terms and conditions?
To leave,
He told the managers to...
he told the managers to leave box 5 only for him, and if they don't do this, he will every performance will be a disaster.
Okay, every performance will be a disaster. Now, I think that we better find out what happens when Christine takes off the mask.
Who are you and what are you doing in my dressing room?
I'm here to take you to my underground kingdom.
Are you mad? Impossible. I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, but you are. Unless you don't want to see her all alive.
Don't lay a hand on her.
I will. But if you come with me, I'll think about it again.
I guess you have no choice.
Welcome to my world beneath the opera house. What do you think about my taste in the opera? Isn't beyond your wildest dreams?
The truth is that it smells very nasty in here and there's no windows. This dark, damp place is really creepy and it's full of insects.
Insects won't hurt you if you don't hurt them first.
Who are you again?
Christine, you are in no danger. You have sung for me, and only for me. Your devotion has touched my heart. But if you see what's hidden behind this mask, I can never let you go.
Now I realize who you are. You are the one who has transformed me from the nameless voice in the star I've become. I'm shocked and think I'm going to faint, but I must learn who is behind this mask. I'm Silvia. You're not the angel of music.
I'm not your angel of music, Christine. I'm the one they call the Phantom of the Opera. Here, let me show you the rest of my house. Please, consider it as a home to share with me.
You can't be serious.
Oh, I am. Here, take the string, and never take it off. It will prove your devotion.
I will never take it. I have to get out of here.
But you can't.
And the other people, the other members of the class gave us their opinion, and we did it gradually throughout the year, not just in one lesson. Slowly but surely, they changed the script to their liking, and in the end here, when they actually finally decided to come and do it, they left something out at the end, and we said, leave it. Forget it, it doesn't matter, it's just perfect like that.
And because some of your parents may not have understood what you just said, what Miss Linda just said. Could you please explain to the parents in Greek what Miss Linda just said? Whoever, I don't know.
Κατά τη διάρκεια της χρονιάς ετοιμάσαμε ένα θεατρικό. Το γράψαμε με τη βοήθεια της κυρίας Λίντα. Αλλάξαμε το σενάριο, πήραμε και τα σχόλια των συμμαθητών μας και αυτό ήταν το αποτέλεσμα που είδατε.
Συγχαρητήρια, παιδιά, από εκείνη που το λέω. Respect.
And I think that it's important because the theater was very important at one time in Greece. And I think that the students should have some experience because it helps them use their voice, it helps them with expression, and it helps them learn the language basically. Now, okay, we saw this particular character, the Phantom, but now we have to find out about his life story, okay? And it's a bit of a tragic one.
Hello, my name is Parusia, and today I'm going to talk about Eric's story. When Raoul Persian was in the torture. When Persian and Raoul was in the torture chamber, Persian contemplated the life story of a boy who had met in a circus sideshow, a story that changed Raoul and Christine's life forever. Firstly, Persian was the chief of police in Persia. When he was attending a circus sideshow, while he was on holiday in France, he was attracted by an angelic voice on the stage. But, however, when he saw the singer's terrible face, he was horrified. He returned to circus many times to hear him sing, and after a while they became friends. He was a young lad with the ambition of becoming an architect. But, however, one day, while he was studying, a fire broke out, and his face was burned beyond repair. That put an end to his dreams. Furthermore, his mother forced him to wear a mask, so she didn't have to see his face or to kiss it. That her rejection drove him to run away from home.
Okay, what do you think about her rejection? What do you think about the terrible thing that she did? Orestes?
Well, it was truly unfair and Eric didn't deserve it. He was still Eric. I mean, just because he wasn't pretty doesn't mean he doesn't deserve some love.
Greta, what do you think about this?
I agree with Orestes. It was a good mother to reject his child only because he was ugly.
Thanastis?
I will agree with the guys. Also, he wouldn't have done this, what he done in the story, if his mother hadn't rejected him.
Very good. Good from you, Thanastis.
He had found some acceptance amongst the other tortured souls in the circus. There, he learned to perform magic tricks, for example, to throw his voice, which helped him later to confuse everyone at the opera. After some days, Persian convinced him to return with him in Persia. There, he introduced him to the Shah, which was the ruler of the country.
What did he build there? What did he build while he was there? Greta?
He built a palace full of torture chambers.
Lovely. Continue.
Shah made him to work with his builders. And one day, he ordered them to build a palace with secret torture chambers for him. When the construction finished, all the builders were killed because Shah didn't want them to reveal the secret of the torture chambers. But fortunately, Persian saved Eric from death. And they returned together to France. There, Eric helped to build the Paris Opera House, but he made his underground kingdom beneath it. The end.
Okay. This is for you, girls.
How do you feel? Okay. So, summer is near, okay, and holidays are coming, so good for you and good for us as well. Look at the board. Here are some two really popular holiday destinations, okay? Who can compare and contrast the pictures, first of all?
The right-hand side picture depicts some people that have gone to a tropical island, maybe, in the sandy beach with palm trees.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is a very popular destination.
Okay.
It may be in Caribbean islands or in Pacific Ocean. In
Pacific Ocean, yeah.
tropical.
So would you like to continue?
On the
All
other
the
hand,
survivors are.
yes. On the other hand, picture, the left-hand picture depicts a very popular site, the Eiffel Tower.
Actually, it's a city, right?
Yes, a very popular city, and exactly a site which is Eiffel Tower, which is one of the most recognizable structures in the world.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to add about Paris?
Moreover, there are many historical sites, such as the Arc de Triomphe, the Louvre Museum, which is a very interesting museum, and the most visited and it was the most visited art museum in 2018. There are the Notre Dame Cathedral, where there are many marriages there every year.
A lot of marriages take place.
What happened recently, do you know? The Notre Dame Cathedral, yes.
The Notre Dame Cathedral was burned recently.
Not completely, but yes, a big part of it. What a disgrace. How unfortunate. How did you feel about this, guys? Yes?
Well, I was really sad because, well, it's a great movie and my sister has seen it so many times that even I can feel
The
lost.
hatchback of Notre Dame,
That's what I was about to ask you. You're talking about this movie.
And even I was attached to that place and it made me really sad.
Because of the movie, you mean? Okay. So, are there any places that you would like to visit abroad, perhaps, or here in Greece? Greta?
I'd like to visit Italy. It's a beautiful country with a long history and a beautiful and amazing culture. Family, for Italians, family is really important. And the family gatherings are central part. The family members share interesting news, food, weekly or monthly reunions that happen.
There are reunions.
To their reunion.
Family reunions, you mean?
Yes. That happened in the biggest house of the family.
You mean there is a family member with the biggest house and invites
Mainly
people
at the
there?
grandparents that they prepare everything. The nonna, the grandmother, prepares, cooks, serves everything on the room.
So something similar happens here in Greece, doesn't it? So that's why they say that we've got lots of common things with Italians as well. Okay, so Orestes has made a nice project about Finland. Orestes!
I want to go to Finland. So I collected some information about one of my favorite holiday destinations, Finland. A country of about 5.5 million citizens. It belongs in Scandinavia. Its capital is Helsinki with around 650 citizens.
50,000.
Yeah. Okay. The two most spoken languages are Finnish and Swedish. And the currency, it used to be the Finnish marka from 1860 until it was replaced by the euro in 2002. Okay. So the Finns, as they love to be called, believed in Baltic mythology and their god was Ukko, whose name comes from Ukkonen, which means thunder. But some of them believed that it also was Baltic Perkele, which means evil spirit. He was the god of harvest, thunder and weather, and he used an axe, a hammer or a sword through his thunders. Now, let's travel to some of the most famous landmarks. Firstly, we have the Suomenlinna fortress. Here it is. An inhabited sea fortress which was built on 6 islands and is now part of Helsinki. Speaking of Helsinki, have you heard about the churches? They are considered to be the most beautiful churches around the world. Here's a picture of one. There is an interesting city called Oulu, where residents can experiment with new technology none of us know about. But yeah, I want to go there.
I'm sure about this.
If you ever happen to be in Finland, you should not miss the beautiful lights on the sky, which is accompanied by beautiful colors and sounds, called the Northern Lights.
In Greek, do you know? Vorio?
Yes.
Here are some traditional dishes. Firstly, we have liakulat, which is our meatballs, hernekaito, which is a pea soup, kizeli, which is a fruit soup, and panikaku, which are the very famous oven pancakes. I go for the meatballs. These are some strange and interesting customs they have. Ukonkanto is translated as wife-carrying, and it's exactly what it sounds. Men have to carry their wives through a track field full of obstacles in order to win a prize. This custom was originated in the 19th century. An ancient custom is Tina Valanda, or else known as Mollidomasi. It was used to predict the future. The Finns used to melt a piece of metal above a stove, throw it in a bucket with cold water, and the object that came out, its shadow, would predict the future. That's what they believed, at least. And here's a newest custom called ilmaktar. It's translated as air guitar, but there are no guitars at all. Actually, it's a lip-syncing contest where performers have to create a nice performance and sing their favorite song. It started as a joke, but it became really famous. Have you ever thought of Christmas in other countries? Well, Christmas in Finland seems really interesting. Some of the basic decorations are a Christmas tree, apples, candles, and outdoor torches. Some people who want to preserve nature find a nice tree in the forest, decorate it with fat balls and other decorations, so birds can celebrate Christmas too. They also exchange gifts there, but before they do, they can also light a candle for their beloved ones who are not here anymore. It's a little sad, but here's something to cheer you up. Since there's no sun to do the job, Finns like to go on sauna. You can find them every day, but they mostly do it on Christmas Eve. Speaking of Christmas Eve, their traditional dessert is rice porridge, something like our risogalo, and I hope it tastes good.
Congratulations, dear.
Exercising can do the same thing, don't you think so? So, do you think that going to the gym is better than exercising by yourself? I would like your opinion on that. Yes, Anna?
Yes, because you may in the gym you may have friends and exercise with them, but also it's good to exercise alone because you have a personal trainer and could have his eyes on you.
So you can decide which one is best.
Yes.
All of them, both of them have got advantages, you mean, or perhaps disadvantages. Yes, you know?
I think that personal exercising is better than group exercising for the reason that Thanos said, and because in the group exercising, exercising is in groups, some others are in higher level of exercising of you, And you can, and sometimes you can.
Are you talking about the fitness level?
Yes, the fitness level, and sometimes you can't attend the group.
Just because you might be better,
Or
fitter.
no, less fitter.
Oh, okay. Greta?
I disagree with Spiros. I think that going to the gym is more beneficial than exercising by yourself because it gives you an advantage to go because you have
perhaps.
yes, because there are a lot of people that encourage you to continue to exercise. They will teach you and they will help each other. And when you are alone, if you do something wrong or something like that.
Okay, so, yes, Greta?
Well, I have to agree with Greta and the rest of the guys because, yeah, when you're exercising alone, you have more attention. But when you're exercising in a group, you communicate with people, you stay fit at the same time, you have fun, you exercise. I and Greta can assure you, because we go to Stivos, and exercising alone is not fun.
I think it's boring, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you socialize at the same time.
Yes. Okay, so, as I can see, team sports are better than individual sports, right? So you all agree. So, who likes cycling? Nobody? Yes, Greta?
I do enjoy cycling, but with all these cars and the heavy traffic at cities, it's nearly impossible.
There should be cycling lanes, okay, to make it easier. Okay, so let's take a look at these pictures. Who can compare and contrast them? Greta?
At the second picture, we can see heavy traffic.
In the second picture, yes,
The
okay.
second picture shows us heavy traffic, a lot of cars. Yes. As a result, we increase air pollution and
Okay, so there's lots of heavy traffic in the second picture. Okay, perhaps people in the streets as well. Okay, we can't see them, but they must be there. So it's a crowded street, a busy street. What about the first picture?
it's in long. It's not as crowded or like
Busy?
the second picture.
So there's a cyclist here, right? Okay. So yes, Peter?
I want to say that there in the road there is a cycling lane, and because there aren't cars there, and there are other cyclists.
That's right. Yes, so it's probably a cycling lane. That's right. So what kind of problems can heavy traffic cause? Greta also mentioned one. Greta Spiros, I don't remember. Yes?
It can cause breathing problems and air pollution.
Okay. So air pollution, which could cause breathing
Can cause breathing
problems.
problems and less oxygen. And
So health problems, you mean?
and I think this the air pollution can harm some sites, monuments like Acropolis,
The Acropolis, yes, that's right.
because of the fumes,
The exhaust fumes, you mean?
the exhaust fumes. They cause rain, a toxic rain that destroys the marble.
Destroys the marble, yeah, that's right. Any other problems that traffic can cause? Apart from air pollution. Yes?
Accidents, a lot of accidents, since you cannot see what's in front of you. The cyclists can confuse the drivers, and things will not end well, that's for sure.
What about people's mood? Just imagine that you have to go to work early in the morning and you're stuck in the traffic. So how would you feel? Anna?
Maybe
What about people's mood?
they feel stressed because they don't know what said their boss, and maybe they can get fired.
And there is a good excuse not to go to work in the morning, right? Okay. We can say that I'm stuck in traffic. What can we do to improve the situation? Are there any solutions you can
Die.
Apart from that. This is too extreme. Yes?
Well, there should be cycling lanes, so cyclists can ride their bikes without causing any problems. Also, we should encourage people to carpool. For example, colleagues can share a car. This would solve a lot of environmental problems.
Yeah, okay, I agree with you.
So, excuse me, can I take some of your time?
Of course.
Okay, I mean, if there is, you can afford this.
Of course, of
Okay,
course.
guys, in a few days, Greeks are going to vote for representatives for the European Parliament, right? Suppose you all four were members of the European Parliament. What would you suggest, do, vote for concerning your country? Difficult question, okay?
To make some, a lot of.
Listen, everyone, get into the role. Imagine you are in this huge parliamentary room, okay? You're standing in front of the representatives of the whole Europe. So start. Ladies and gentlemen, who's going to do this for me? This is going to be a present for me. Who's going to do it? Improvise. Think on the spot, right now. Okay, Spiromu, congratulations for your decision, first of all.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think that we should make more bicycle lanes on the roads because of the heavy traffic. And there isn't any space for the cyclists. I think I know that there are some in some synchronized countries, but in some countries like Greece, there aren't.
You're all members of the Parliament, the European Parliament, so you all have to say something about your country.
Apart
Go
from
ahead.
cycling and great traffic, we can think of something else to talk about.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Spokesman.
Okay.
Future
All right,
president.
if there is more to say, go ahead. Okay, come on. Nothing else for your country, the rest of you? Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I am concerned about the internet nowadays, especially about Article 13, something that would destroy the internet as we know it. There would be no memes, no edits, no anything.
No edits for you.
People will not be able to express themselves as they want, and they think we should drop it.
Any comments on the spokesman's remarks? Do you agree the rest Greeks? Okay. All right.
And they got this, yes.
Are you through, Mr. Spokesman?
Oh, yes.
All right. Anything else from the rest of the Greek team?
Also, I think we can have a law.
Get into the role, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we must have a law not to use so much cars nowadays and use more bicycles.
So what is it you need? What are you asking for from the European Parliament?
To use less the cars.
Funds. Funds.
What everybody needs.
Yes, yes.
I think that he...
My colleague means
My colleague means that we can offer some money to whom that to the person that use the bicycle to get to work or another.
What do you mean when you say offer him some money? Pay him for
Pay
something
him
to do
for
that?
this.
What, he's going to get money?
No,
Use his bicycle
something
to
like
work?
a competition that will which will encourage people to use more bicycles, like with solar energy. Someone who had placed a solar panel in his house, he has a lower price, I think, or some. It's something like a new law.
and we have a beautiful lady from Greece.
Also, it would be a good idea to reduce the price.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have something different to propose, to suggest, okay? What I'm really interested in is that my country, I'm giving you ideas, you understand?
Okay.
Start from the beginning.
Ladies and gentlemen, it would be a good idea to reduce the price of tickets of public transport, so people would prefer and to use them.
I agree with
Have a
that.
motive, you mean?
A lot of people refuse to pay for tickets, so they use their cars, and this causes a lot of the problems we face today.
Why do they refuse to pay for tickets?
They're too expensive.
Now, there's something you're not very sure of what to suggest, propose in the European Parliament. Talk about it and decide what you're going to talk about. Talk among you understand? You can decide. All right, talk to each other.
Who wants to suggest an idea?
I can give you an idea.
I think
Invite
that we could suggest the short ask.
tourism, invite more people, ways to, how to, okay, you can talk about this. Let me just say. Μα τους ζητάω πολλά.
Εμείς κάτι τέτοιο.
Bicycles, because they are both bicycles and people who walking in the same path.
Okay, the same lane perhaps?
Yes, the same.
What else? The street was really busy, okay, really crowded. So, was he able to...
Well, if you saw, the bicycle had nowhere to stop, so the car behind them had enough time to stop, fortunately, and it could become an accident easily.
Yes, that's right. So it was a little bit dangerous for him. Okay, I agree with you. Fine. So cycling is also a great hobby. We have already talked about it. What other hobbies do you have? I mean, Orestes said that he likes cycling, I believe. But what about other hobbies?
Cycling on
Other
his
interesting
computer.
Okay, we're fine with that. What about other interesting things that you like doing, apart from like playing sports? Orestes, I know what you're going to answer. Greta, what about you?
I like reading books actually.
Ah, you're my girl. Okay, you like reading books. What kind of books do you like reading?
I prefer romance and adventure books.
Okay, is there a nice book, an interesting one that you have recently read?
I have read the After book.
After.
After.
Isn't that a movie as well?
Yes.
Okay. It
The
was
movie is
always-
awful.
Sorry?
The movie song.
Really? My daughter wants to see it. I don't know. She hasn't read the book.
Have you taken any book from the book lending library? Have you used any of the books of the school lending library?
No, I have a program in my phone that it has
Ah,
books.
okay, you
They
download
download it
it.
from
Yeah,
there.
great.
Okay, so since Mrs. Katia mentioned something about a library, let's watch this one and tell me what you think of it.
There is no sound. We can have the sound.
Yes, but I don't know how, sorry. Okay, thank you.
I was here almost every week for the entire.
The margins of things.
So, what did you think of this idea? I mean, I found it really impressive. I have never seen something like that before. What does he actually do? Did you understand? Yes, Peter?
He has a library on wheels.
On wheels?
On wheels. He is giving books to the homeless people
Homeless. Okay, who are homeless? People who?
who haven't have a home to.
So where do they live?
They live in the street.
They live in the streets, that's right. So this is his job, okay? So people who live in the streets can borrow books from him. So do you think that this is a good idea? This is important for them? Greta?
Yes, because they give it the opportunity to read and learn more things. Because they haven't enough money to take one,
Why?
to buy
To
one.
buy one, that's right. Leslie, did you want to say anything?
Yes, it's really interesting what he does since he does it for free
Of course.
and he gives an opportunity to homeless people to read and evolve.
This is really important because just imagine these people have got no house, okay, no place to live, but still, okay, some of them would like to improve their lives, right? But how can they do that when they live in the street? Lots of them are educated, but they don't have chances to be able to work somewhere. So yes, I believe this is important. And I also found that picture, the picture you can see on the left, right, left, yes, left, which is a street library. Okay, what do you think a street library might be?
I haven't seen one before. Very
Yes.
interesting.
I thought it was interesting. So that one, which looks like a small box, is a street library. So, what do you think it is? Yes?
I think it would be like a shelf with books there, and you can open this box and take
Like cardboard,
a
yes.
card, yes. With no pay, you can open this box and borrow a book.
Borrow a book, that's right. And where can we see such street libraries? So the name says everything. On the
Not
street.
in Greece.
And in the street, okay? And see, there is a cute bench nearby, so children can sit and read the books they can borrow.
Guys, honestly, do you think that something like this would really work in a place, in a country like Greece? Yes, Peter?
Not really, because the majority of people don't want to learn new things and they don't respect books like some people in other countries.
Now, honestly, if you were sitting on a bench like the three little kids, okay, and next to you there was this, what is it, a little kiosk, let's say, with books in it, this mini library, would you ever get into the trouble of taking one and trying to read it?
Well, I would see what book it contains, but I would read one only if I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
A reading book is really interesting, but I'm sure there are more things that you like doing in your free time. Oresti, you're going to answer last. So what else do you like doing? Reading then? Watching films perhaps, right? And of course, listening to music. And if you look at the board, of course.
Playing video games.
Sorry?
Playing video games.
Ah, so tell us about video games. Do you like playing video games? How often do you do that?
Every day.
Every day. For how many hours every day?
1 or
Oh.
2.
Okay. And which one is the game that you like most?
There are 2.
Sorry, which one?
There are 2.
Ah, sorry. I thought you said a name.
It is FIFA, which is a football game, and Fortnite.
Fortnite. Oh. Tell me about this game. Why is it so popular?
Sorry, is there a llama in that game?
What
Because I've
is
seen
it?
books, I've seen pens, I've seen, I don't know, everything. Lots of things with the llama.
People are crazy about this. What is it? I'm honest with you. Why are they so crazy about it? Yeah.
Because I think this game came out the perfect time.
It's a
Because
question of time.
before 2 years,
2 years ago, you mean?
2 years ago, yes, we didn't know what to play. And as I told you, this game came out in the perfect time, and all of the gamers tried to played it and liked it.
Yeah, what's the difference? What is it that makes it so popular? Yes.
I think that a lot of people today love violence, and it is.
Oh, so there is violence.
And there is violence, and there is. They love war, violence, killing.
Yeah, but there are other games, but there are other games which are equally violently. Violent, sorry.
These have special sound effects, visual effects, and
the llama.
And what is this llama? Llama is an animal in Peru.
This is the only thing I know. There is a llama there. And
That's all I
it's
know.
called, has it got a name?
No, llama.
Ah, okay.
but there are special visual effects. There you can play it only in devices that have a good
Special requirements.
animation card on a computer or a very good
Graphics.
phone, cell phone.
I see. Yeah? What can you tell us? Do you know this game? You have no idea, like me. Okay?
Greta reads books. Okay?
Okay, I understand.
Oresti.
I was never interested in playing Fortnite, just because everyone played it.
A contradicting personality. Okay.
And after hearing what others said about the game, well, I understood that it was just a game that has been released again with a different title and different characters.
Are you implying that there are similar games? Then what makes it so outstanding?
Famous people played.
But is it with real characters or
I
graphics?
have no idea.
Cartoons.
When you say famous people played, you mean?
All the gamers, some singers were decent of it, and they tried to promote it
So
this
it has
way.
been widely advertised.
But you know, what I believe is that unless there's something really extraordinary about it, nobody can be so crazy about it. Everybody's crazy about this. And I
Perhaps
can't
it's
understand why.
fashion.
Yeah, but if something becomes fashion, there has to be something in it that makes it extraordinary. And this is what I can't understand.
I don't know. Perhaps we have to play it. Just to take a taste. So, do you have a Facebook or Instagram account?
Yes.
Both. Facebook and Instagram.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
I have only Instagram.
Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
You haven't any?
I have only Instagram.
Mm-hmm. And excuse me, that's a personal question I have. What is the difference?
Yeah, that's what I was.
No, sorry.
There's no difference.
No, I think there is. Isn't there?
Please talk about this, just to help me understand the difference.
Sorry to interrupt, but I believe that Instagram has become much more popular.
Ah, by the way, you know, Zuckerberg was in the Acropolis this morning.
Really?
Yeah, I heard it from the news.
And
But nobody saw him face to face. He posted pictures with his wife on the Acropolis, but nobody saw him. And he was the only person that had his ticket issued electronically.
of course. So why is it more popular? What do you think?
Well,
There's a new trend, yes.
first of all, it became popular after the whole stories idea, a post that's only available for 24 hours.
But you can also do something like that using Messenger, can't you?
Yes, but this happened recently. First was only Instagram, and that's what made it so popular, I believe. Now they're all the same. Well, minor differences, but
You know, someone told me that she never uses Facebook anymore because her parents also are on Facebook. So she doesn't want that.
I think there lies the biggest truth about why young people have abandoned Facebook. Not abandoned, but they're not so crazy about it. They have found a new site, let's say, okay, a new meeting point. How far do you think this is true? You think so too, Oresti?
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who wants their parents to know what they do with their lives?
But don't you think your parents can be your friends without your knowing that on Instagram?
Of course they will be. But
They can be.
they can be. I'm sure they're not, but
No, we're not talking about your,
Yes.
especially your parents, okay? But I
uh,
mean, they can join you with a different name. I don't know.
nowadays,
Don't you
Alice
have to accept the
46.
follower?
if you have your profile private, yes, you have to accept the follower. But only a fake image and a different name is enough.
Yes, but don't you have to accept followers that you already know?
Yes.
I mean, isn't it dangerous to
Yes,
accept
it is, but
strangers?
it is, but I don't think that
So
a
what
lot
about
of
you?
things need like
Do
this.
you accept, do you have followers that you don't know?
Mm,
Or only friends, schoolmates? Yes, Spiro?
I have only friends and all the schoolmates from the primary, the elementary school. That no one that is unknown to me.
Okay.
Unknown.
Do your parents know your password, for example, and can they check what you
Are posting or receiving.
Yes.
I think Instagram hasn't a password, hasn't got a password.
Ah,
I believe it
I
does.
didn't
it
know.
does.
No, I believe it does.
It does.
Yes.
From your device or
Once you've saved your password, either
Yes, you don't have to
Facebook or
use
Instagram, do not require a new password every time you open the application. But it's because you've saved it in your device.
Greta, what about you?
They know my code from my telephone, so if they want to see, they can take my phone.
Do you let them do that? I mean, are you okay with that?
No, I haven't got it.
You don't have a problem, okay. You're the exception. Oresti, you were saying?
Well,
By the way, your mother and father are here, okay, you know that.
He knows so many tricks that he can trick everybody and do whatever
You're
he
tricky.
wants. He's a trickster.
well, I have my profile open for everyone since I don't post anything personal, I have nothing to hide, so I have followers that I don't know, but
Who cares?
just not.
Instagram isn't only about
So
posting.
do I.
You can also communicate with
Yes.
others. You can send
Of course, send
messages.
messages.
Okay.
Videos.
Yes, but what about if your mother or father has got your password? Can they check who you are texting as well?
Yes.
But you don't have a problem with that either. Okay, Fano?
I don't use a lot Instagram, only when I talk with my friends.
Guys, you have to delete 2 accounts, either Facebook and Instagram, or Facebook and Messenger, or Instagram and Messenger. Which 2 would you delete, or which one would you not delete?
Which one would you keep?
Yeah. Pano?
I would keep Instagram because almost all my friends have, not almost all
It
my
makes
friends
sense
have
what you're saying.
Instagram, and I can talk with them.
Mhm.
With them.
What about the rest of you?
Well,
Yes, Oresti?
Also,
as much as I love Facebook and Messenger, I think I would keep Instagram too, since, well, you can text while on Facebook.
You can text
Yes.
through Instagram, right?
Yes.
yes, that's what he said.
It's like a
But
combination of
private, like,
Yes.
And
It's like a combination of Facebook and Messenger.
okay.
It has the private messages, the comments, the posts, the stories.
Then it's the same.
Exactly.
It's not a combination, it's the same.
It's just that Facebook, it's like a completely different app from Messenger. If you click the messages,
This
it's
can
completely
be completely different, but
Yeah.
it's not necessary that
Why
it
is
is.
it so appealing though?
well,
Is it because of the pictures, for example? Is it because of the stories? Is it because that lots of things people have got Instagram accounts and you can follow them? What do you think? Is that because of another reason? I don't know.
There are jobs on Instagram. The Instagrammers,
What kind of jobs are there?
Beauticians and things like that,
Yes.
people who promote
Yes.
personal things they produce.
Do you
Yeah.
follow any of them?
I think no, because I don't like them. I can see them on YouTube or something like that. But
No, so there is no alternative. Okay. Good.
Concerning the previous question I asked you, personally I would keep the Messenger